After the very generous patronage of Versax and Baron's Flame, we now have S. Reed and Penguin joining the fray. Thank you guys so much for your amazing support. I really, really appreciate it. And the content that I post will hopefully be of good enough quality to really earn this kind of support. So, well, I do hope you enjoy this one. So sit back and maybe grab some to drink too, because it's going to be a fun one. Hi guys, Bolt here once again with a very nice 1 versus 1 ranked match against Phoenix, who has been on the channel previously. I believe we did a 1v1 on one of the bigger 1v1 maps, and he kind of just ruined me. He played really well as the second Pentagrenadier. I'll try to link the video in the description if it is actually a 1v1 I did against him, and if I can find the video back. But today we're doing a armored versus armored gameplay. So I have the 5th Blindé, the French armored, and he has the 3rd American armored. And things are gonna get heated. So upon noticing that it's Phoenix, who is a good player, and he's playing with the 3rd armored, which is a really good armored battle group, I already kind of adjusted my strategies a little bit. Okay. So the main idea is, since we're on this side here, on the red side, is to defend over here. Try to get as many conquest points as possible really, really quickly, and then basically either force him to move in close into our area so that we can get some, close quarters tank-on-tank action, or with smoke and other means, I push his tanks back out of range of my tanks. Because my tanks, the heaviest one has like 13 armor and 18 AP value on the gun. And, well, you probably know what the M1A1 HA is gonna do. The M1A1, the base M1A1, is already much better than all of my tanks. 17 front armor and 19 AP, and insane accuracy on the move or stationary. While I have something like, let's just speed it up a little bit until we get our command tank out. And I have something like this, 11 and 16. And that is basically like our average, tank stats that we have. So it's really not the best. Let's go over the units before we go into the match. On the left side we have an Éclaireur going into this opening, or this building here. I think it's a supermarket, or it looks like an office, I'm not quite sure. And he's basically going to keep an eye on the far left flank here. And in the middle we have 3 Dragon Paras. These are special forces, shock troops, airborne dudes, and they also have the GSR trait, which gives them a +1 optic level when they stand still. So they go from very good to excellent. And these guys are basically tasked with taking over the front line here. Although they are taking some really weird routes that I need to know, that I need to adjust, or use to adjust my spawns on this map. We have an AMX-10RC going into the right corner of that zone here. We have a VAP PC that is going to capture Delta and Fox. And we have a command tank that is going all the way to the front line to quickly capture that. Speaking of front line, we also have a Mistral and a Milan team that is going to play quite conservatively. Milan team is going here, and the Mistral team is going to the back of Echo. We have another Mistral team going to the right side of Echo, and another one going north of Foxtrot. And speaking of north of Foxtrot, we also have an AMX-10RC and 2 Dragon Paras that are going to take up positions here. And the RC is going to stand right here to basically try to get some side shots. So Phoenix has an LRS team going to my left flank. He has scouts and the ACAVs going to my right flank. He has 2 M1A1s and 2 Stinger teams that are going into this corner of forest here. He has an M151 command going through all the zones, 2 arrow rifles that are tasked with moving up to the front line, and we have a Stinger team and an M1A1 going to the right side. So quite a lot of tanks. Quite a lot of tanks. So we already have 3 M1A1s to deal with, and I will try to keep this in neutral mode most of the time, but when I'm performing certain actions, I will move it to my point of view or his point of view, so that I can basically give you guys a good narration of what I was like thinking and what he might be thinking when performing certain actions. So let's see how this goes. We also have a Gazelle Hot, I kind of just forgot about this guy, and an Alouette that are spawning up early, basically as like an area denial kind of thing, because usually if you do an attack with helicopters early on, that is probably, the period of a match where it's going to be the most effective, because at some point AA is going to be saturating the entire map and doing a heli attack is probably not going to work. So I try to do any heli attack early on. I have a Gazelle Hot with really good ATGM, 65% accuracy with 24 AP, as like an area denial kind of unit. But we noticed arrow rifles. Well, we noticed Blackhawks that have arrow rifles in them, moving up really close to the front line, being very aggressive, and that kind of worried me. We do have Dragon Paras here, so this guy is going to be hurt quite badly. These guys have a sniper rifle, the arrow rifles don't, so we're going to do quite a lot of damage. And we have an AMX-10 here that got a really nice hit on them as well, and they're really suppressed already. Now on the right side, it's basically just ACAVs moving up. This N1A1 is going to chill there, and he has a scout to keep eyes on this open area. But he does not see my AMX-10 RC because it's quite stealthy. So, really good engagement against that air rifles. He is +2, but we quickly get this command in here. And the plan is to immediately get the command into the next zone to at least give us, you know, at the bare minimum, 100 points lead. Because that is what you need to win the game, I believe, in a 1v1 setting. So on the left side, these arrow rifles, man, with the double M60s are just chewing through my Dragon Paras. These guys don't have a line of sight just yet. And the only thing these guys have at range is the sniper rifle. These guys also aren't, you know, close enough to use the SMGs. So not a good little toss-up here. So definitely don't want to be taking that on. So we fall back immediately to try to save these guys. So we move in the AMX-10. I know that I can take a hit from the arrow rifles. So we do lob a shell in their face and then we smoke it. And we move the Dragon Paras up instead. So command moves in. Right now the game is neutral. He is up ahead by 13 points. But the moment we move it in and smoke it, we are going to be, we're going to be +2. Let's just put it into neutral mode for a little bit here. Now, Phoenix put a lot of points into artillery quite early on. So 3 mortars coming up for 270 points each. And at some point he also calls in 2 M109s, which are 240 points. And together all of that is 750 points, if my math is correct here. So that's a lot of points in artillery in like the first 10 minutes. And that might have kind of been, you know, in hindsight, maybe not the best choice, but you're going to see why. So we're moving up the Dragon Paras once again. The arrow rifles are down to 9 dudes. The Dragon Paras, when they do get in range with the MP5 SD, which is meant for CQC, they can do a lot of damage there. Really good accuracy, and you know, just good HE and suppression, and just rate of fire is insane. So they're moving up close. We did also buy some tanks. We have an AMX-30B2 Brennus coming in, and we have more tanks being spawned in right now. As a matter of fact, we have 4 tanks that we just spawned in. And that is the entire plan here, just to get as many tanks as we can, to have as many autocannons and you know, cannons in general as possible. So Dragon Paras, as you can see, immediately stun the arrow rifles, doing really good. But there is an M1A1 over there that is being a little bit of a problem there. So we do get out with this Dragon Paras. I just hope that this guy does enough damage to stun those guys. So Gazelle Hot here, I wonder if he actually sees that. He does. So in fact, that is being a little bit of a, you know, an area denial kind of unit against him. So that is actually a really good investment there. Range is really good, and you know, the damage, accuracy, all of it. It's a really good helicopter that you can get for 55 points only. So we get some supplies up to the front line now. These guys are not cheap, 65 points. So I do want to save them, but Phoenix doesn't agree. He has some mortars firing down on our kind of retreat line, if you want to call it that, as you can see here. So those mortars are going to rain some pain on my dudes and take out one of my Dragon Paras. Luckily the other one gets out just on time. Pretty good use of mortars, I do like that. But as you can see, an M109 is being purchased for 240 points. Quite expensive, but I think his idea here is to basically use artillery to soften up my troops, to beat them down, and then follow up with a tank push or an infantry push. So we're gonna see some interesting strategies throughout this match. Once again, really big warm welcome to all the patrons. You guys are being way too generous, and I do want to remind you, you can cancel or downgrade anytime you want. Please. Like, even $1 is precious at times, so don't feel obligated to keep your support ongoing. You can always cancel if you want to return back later. Don't feel pressured into doing any of those also. If you just want to just watch videos and just listen to my bantering, that is already amazing way of supporting the channel. So, but yeah, I still do appreciate all of you. As a matter of fact, you might be wondering how I talk so much. Well, you guys are supplying the coffee, and that supplies the energy for these content, for this video. So there you go. Anyways, let's get back into it. So we have a lot of tanks coming up. The plan is quite simple. Have the Dragon Paras move up once again, since they are now fully replenished. And we have now autocannons and big old guns to take out the arrow rifles the moment we spot them. Now the right flank doesn't really see much action throughout the entire game. We're both kind of just focusing on protecting it. I do have some, decent units here. Some Dragon Paras and Grenadier Voltigé and the VAP T20 and an AMX-10RC. There you go. The moment the arrow rifles are spotted, the AMXs, AMX-30s and AMX-10s just blast the arrow rifles out of there. But speaking of blasting, his 2 M109s, he has now bought 2, are doing a lot of damage on my front line here. So that does make me invest a lot in supplies. So you can also look at it that way. There we go. So air rifles are pushed out. Dragon Paras now with the MP5 SDs can quickly take those guys out. We also do rain down some mortar fire, but in the shape of smoke. We don't really care about HE with our mortars. We want to just block his line of sight of his fire support, which in this case consists of tanks, in order for our units to basically finish off anything that we want to focus on. So I kind of isolate enemy units with smoke. Now we do have some counter battery going on here. So his 3 mortars here have been, ruining the day of my units. So we do get some really nice hits on them with our AMX AOF1. I hope that's the right way of pronouncing it, but I'm probably going to butcher it anyways. But that's doing a good amount of damage here. We don't take out any of these. Unfortunately, they're quite resilient, even though they took quite a few hits there. But hey, we dislodged them. Their cohesion is low. Makes him invest in a supply heli at the cost of 45 points, and these guys are out of commission for some time. A Black Hawk is being moved in with air rifles. We immediately doinkify that unit. But since they're airborne units, they do survive that crash. But, out of the frying pan into the fire kind of deal right there. So on the right side, a fresh push of Abrams, 3 M1A1 Abrams moving in. Milan is trying to get some nice hits on him. Our AMXs are falling back because we just don't have the armor to battle against that. AMX-10RC is on return fire, so I'm trying to keep him out of the fight for as much as possible. And basically just act as our eyes on the battlefield here. Even though we get a nice little frontal hit, it's not going to do that much damage. But he falls back. I'm not quite sure why he falls back. He doesn't see anything. That is his main problem here. He does move an LRS, but I'm just basically putting some sporadic smoke in this open field. And that serves 2 purposes. 1, it'll force him to move closer. But 2, it also blocks his line of sight. And that is both really good for me. So we move in a Mirage 5F. Wow, I just smacked there. Mirage 5F to cluster, the usual suspected command zones. And we do get his command there. He calls in a F-15, our cluster bomber survives, and his F-15 also survives. So, you know what? We won. We won that engagement there. That puts us up to +4. And look at the amount of commands I got. I have an AMX-30B2 right here, standing by. I have an AMX-30B2 as well here on the right side, and I have the VAP PC command just chilling here in case I do need to move it up. There we go. So all of our tanks are moving forward. He decided to move up a little bit, but then decided to fall back as well. But now, since all of our tanks are nicely repaired, we line them back up on the front line. His mortars still getting fixed up, so our counter battery did do quite well there actually. It served its purpose. So the Dragon Pairs there spot the Stinger teams and the LRS. I'm just going to go into my point of view here. And together with the AMXs here, we're doing some good damage. Stinger team gets taken out. AMX-10P Milan fires an ATGM at the M1A1, but luckily for Phoenix, it misses. But these guys are being champions here. So that is 1 M1A1 versus 4 AMXs. They're all elite training as well. Unfortunately, this guy misses two times. But we get our other AMX to hit, and now he starts hitting. We smoke off the one that gets hit, and we just let the rest try to deal with the M1A1 here instead. And that is doing really, really good. So that guy is down to 4 HP already. And that is being very cost effective here. So one of these AMX-30 Brannises is 165 points. AMX-30B themselves are only a 95 points. But you know, they still have 15 AP. And if you're at a range of like 1600 meters, you're still gonna do it. You're still gonna do damage. And that is the entire idea here. So we have some really, really heavy artillery coming down on our left corner here, doing quite a bit of damage on our units. We immediately just fall back with our tanks out of the forest, and we get some supply trucks to replenish these. But now we have some anti-char coming up. The main purpose of these guys is to stop his tanks when he moves in a little bit too close. And that is what this smoke also is designed to do. Again, make him move close enough for all of our units to basically be able to take them on one by one. The Dragon Paras here, wonderful units. Really, really good, really cost effective as well. They don't have like long range or medium range anti-infantry, well, I shouldn't say anti-infantry weapons, but machine guns. It's either close range or long range. So the Dragon Pairs are tasked with moving up a little bit here, just to give us some better eyes. And also, since we moved the Milan team in there, I don't want the Dragon Pairs to be in the same building, because, well, the Milan team is going to get shot at. We do lose an AMX-10 RC, Sir Blinde, and that forces him to smoke off all of his tanks, but one of them is on 1 HP. We call in a Mirage 5F cluster to try to take that blob out, but Phoenix is really good with his micro and he falls back out of harm's way. But again, a good attempt by Phoenix, but I think the smoke and also the area denial units like the Milan 2 kind of made him unsure about that push. And now also we have smoke coming in, which again serves multiple purposes. One, he needs to move close enough before he can, you know, A, spot us, and B, fire at us. But also, it gives, it breaks his line of sight, and he moves us close enough for our AP to really just ruin his armor. So speaking of smoke, he does a smoke attack himself, and he follows up with a couple of squads here with AT4s and also engineers. We get a really nice kill on OH-58C Scout by an elite Mistral. Like, my god, because he's close to a command. And that guy is just one-tapping helis left and right. So we have our AMX OF1 counter his mortars. I wonder if we actually get some nice hits on him. AMX is really good, but the salvo length is only 4. So that means 4 rounds every fire mission. And I mean, I already missed one. The second one is probably gonna miss 2. Yep, there it is. Third one might do some damage. There we go, stunning him a little bit. Let's see what the fourth shell does. That's a miss. So, you know, it's not the best thing. It's not the best at counter battery. I might have to get some more, maybe some more mortars. So the idea here was hope that his tanks were kind of still just hanging out here. We have our group anti-char moving up through the smoke in order to basically be close enough to him so that the double PLAS can ruin their day. Those guys are tasked with that. On the left side, we are in full defensive mode here. We have a group anti-char holding the front line. I was hoping for tanks to move up instead of fire teams. So we immediately do fall back with that guy, and we let our tanks try to deal with this push instead. We have all of our RD now firing on this position as well. Mortars are tasked with firing on him. Man, all the autocannons are just ruining his infantry units. Look at that. Also, I wonder why his smoke kind of went away that quick. Oh, we get a nice hit on the M1A1 with the Brennus. Okay. Didn't even see that. He's down 3 HP already. Yeah, that worked really, really well. That artillery strike on his engineers and his smoke just dissipating prematurely, that did the trick. Another Mistral kill, 1 tap on the OH-58C. Just beautiful work. FAP-T20 is moving in to destroy the LRS squads here. And look at all his tanks and just chilling in the back there. But now that there's Artie, we immediately fall back and basically start repairing these guys. We have a couple of supply trucks here, so they're tasked with getting these guys back on HP, and then they're gonna move back into that point. So over here, let's see what we do. 5 M1A1s. Unfortunately, the smoke is a little bit in a bad spot, but we get a beautiful hit on the M1A1. Look at that. And guess what that is gonna do? It's gonna make him fall back. And that is exactly what I was hoping for. We just need to keep him at bay for as long as possible. That guy is gonna go back and try to repair again. But we're gonna keep the smoke up. We don't wanna, you know, give away our trick, our secrets. We wanna make him think that we still have some units here lingering. So on the left, our tanks are moving back up. We spot this lonely M1A1. So AMX-30B2 gets a nice hit. Only does 1 HP damage, but that's fine. We get another hit that does 3. We get another, well, we get a miss there, but he's already down to 6 HP with another hit down to 4. So he's just, no pun intended, tanking a lot of hits from my AMXs. But look at that. We are now at such a close range that we do insane amounts of damage. There goes one M1A1, and there goes the other one. Beautiful engagement there. No losses on our side. 480 points losses on his side. He does take out a Gazelle Hop, but that's 55 points. And we're just falling back with our dudes to repair them. Fresh Blackhawk push coming in with air rifles. I was already thinking that this is basically meant to spot my commands and then to arty them. Luckily though, we do have a good amount of autocannons here to prevent him from landing and keeping all of those air rifles alive. But again, the moment the helicopter crashes, some of them do survive. So that's 5 air rifles, but he's up against a command tank, and he's not gonna have a good time. On the left, I am basically countering his push. We have group anti-char unloading right here. We destroy an engineer squad, the LRS squad is gonna get doinked as well. And the anti-char are basically tasked with cleaning up the forest. So let's see how that does. Now the VAP-T20s are basically tasked with moving through the forest, maybe to get some side shots on the M1A1s. But unfortunately, 1 out of the 2 anti-char and the VAP-T20 survive. It's a really tough fight right now. That M1A1HA is also badly hurt. I am kind of surprised how well everything did here. So the VAP-T20 moves up, destroys his supply heli, and prevent him from resupplying. I wish I moved this guy to the left, because that is where all of his mortars are. We move up a group anti-char here, just through the forest here to spot his tanks, and we get beautiful side shots and destroy an M1A1 Abrams. That was gorgeous. So at this point, we are kind of running low on supplies. But we get a lot of supplies. We have 4 supply trucks moving up to the front line, and look at this. This is a work in progress. We have 2 commandos in Super Pumas standing still for any mission I might come up with. They're basically just hanging out there for some time. The group anti-char unfortunately spot a supply truck and waste a couple of PLASs on that. We do spot a Stinger team and we start exchanging fire, but then an Apache comes in to ruin our day. That is not going to be a good day for the group anti-char right there. That is like an Apache, 240 points. So here we go, supplies are arriving slowly on the front line here. We moved one from the left side into this blob to quickly get these guys back on health. But man, does that require a lot of supplies. Kind of insane. So, more tanks are being spawned in instead. We have 4 AMX-30B2s coming in. We call in a Mirage to try to take out the Apache. But unfortunately, we were just not able to do that, and we do lose our poor Mirage. But you know what? That's making that Apache fall back. He is hurt. He's not gonna have a good time for some time. Yeah, the moment our tanks arrive on the front line, it's gonna be hard for him to push us out, and I don't know, Phoenix is a really good player, don't get me wrong, but I feel like he was being a little bit too careful and allowed me to basically build up enough units to be able to withstand any, you know, limited push that he might do. Really nice Apache kill there with the Roland. Beautiful work. And now we call in a Jaguar. This is a seed plane. We actually turn off the anti-radiation missiles to make sure that he focuses fully with the dual 30mm. And we give him a fire mission on the Apache to hopefully take it out. But again, he survives with 1 HP, which was a sad day for us here. And we do lose this poor guy. Tier is getting wrecked today. Yep, there he goes. We do have a lot of Mistrals here. We get a nice little hit on him, but we don't get a follow-up hit. So he does, you know, escape. But he's going to be out of commission for some time. So here we go. We need to do something. Because I feel like the more I wait, the more tanks he's just going to keep building up. And he has quite a few tanks here. He has 3 over there. And how many? Like 3 over there. So that's 6 M1 A1s. Regular or HA. But look at the amount of tanks we got. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13 tanks. My god, dude. We're basically just buying at least, you know, a tank or 2 every time we get points. Alright, so here is the plan. We have smoke being put down at the usual, like, suspected command areas. And we have 5 Super Pumas with commandos moving up. And we're basically going to reverse Uno, or Uno reverse his initial plan, which was to just get some infantry to move up there. Preferably not crash, but actually unload and hunt down whatever unit might be in that area. So that's why we're smoking it. One of our Super Pumas does get hit by a Mistral, but he's still in the game. He moves up. All of our other dudes are now getting their unload order. But man, do they fly really high and get shot at badly. Now these guys are in a good shape here, so tree lines and the smoke are all kind of blocking off the line of sight from everything. These guys do manage to unload, but the main gamers are going to be these guys, the commandos. They are now attack moving through the smoke. They're going to spot this command and take that out and put us up to +4, just like that. Really good little push there. Now our commandos also do survive, but not for long. That Apache does not agree with our will to live, basically. But look at the... oh, the AMX is doing something bad. But yeah, the amount of tanks I'm just putting out is exactly what you should be doing as the 5th blinde. Well, with any armored battle group, if you're up against someone with better tanks, you really just want to go for quantity at that point. Now we did do a bombing mission here, and that plane also took out an Apache with one of its air-to-air missiles. And it was kind of the last kill there in that game. But really good game. Phoenix, again, a good player. Like, his rank is pretty high, like 150. That's you don't get that easily. So he did really, really well. Mistral, this guy just clapping OH-58Cs. And in general, just every unit is getting some good kills here. So Roland actually took out an F-15, I didn't even see that. And an Apache in the late game there. Commandos, again, destroying that command. And in general, just a really good game. FAP-T20 is doing really well. And the Brennises, I just love the 5th blinde. I don't know what it is about them. We did lose a lot of units though. M1A1 destroying a lot of our units. We lost 3 planes there. M1A1 HA destroying, you know, tanks, special forces, anti-tank units. And this M1A1 just destroyed a lot of good units as well. Especially the Apaches. They kind of just ruined our day quite a bit. But yeah, once again, really good game. Thank you for tuning in, and also thank you, Phoenix, for joining me on a 1v1 ranked brawl. Really enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys back in the next one. Take care.